An old guru of mine, before 12, 13 years, we had a discussion about empirism, and as a young individual, I wanted to explore deeper and deeper, and I was curious and asked him, let's move forward, let's move forward. Then he stopped me and told me, hey, not be hairy, learn first to breathe. If you learn to breathe, then we can move forward.
One moment you are flying in the sky and you are immortal, and suddenly a big hand comes and just slaps your face and crushes you to the ground. You're like, nothing.
But I just remember that it was total darkness, and then it was total white blindness.
The only thing I remember is being really young and having thoughts about what am I, what is life and what is death. These concepts at a very young age, but I don't know, maybe 4. I was persuaded to stay somewhere and meet a very important spiritual leader for an Orthodox monastery. And you know, people's perception on this kind of people is kind of strict, not colorful, blah blah. So I'm waiting, I'm like, okay, I was persuaded, I'm gonna stay and meet this guy. He just gets in the room, heavy steps, tall guy, doesn't say anything to me, and he's just saying one thing. Have you seen The Matrix? And I'm like, what? That was the last thing I would expect from a person to ask me. I'm like, yeah, I've seen it. It's like, that's the world we live in.
They create different reality, something that is not real, and they make us believe that is real. So, you know, we've been very much overwhelmed with what's going on behind these walls, on outside worlds. We may say, you know, that you don't feel part of it for sure, because I don't, and I think many people don't. So then there's this feeling coming to us saying that we don't belong to this world. But actually, that's a question again. It's a repetitive question, because we may belong to this world very well without this false image.
Life is a prison, or life is a joy, or life is a playground, or life is a curse. Everything depends on the individual, from which corner he will embrace life.
Well, prison, no, in my case. Likely more like as a playground, and a school as well, because I mean, you can play because you learn things.
It's a school, but you have to learn while having fun and while trying to escape a prison. Living has to be fun. And living has to have a purpose of learning.
Understanding the world, understanding yourself, and shaping the world are the main things that should be focused on. World is a prison. I don't believe in this thing. I mean, I don't think that this world, this universe is a prison.
I mean, you can't really say that someone has imprisoned us. I think we've imprisoned ourselves. So it's also up to us and within our abilities to free ourselves, you know.
Might be set up as a trap from the beginning that you need to escape it, but you never have to lose that sense of happiness, of having fun. Humor's got to be there all the time. It's the last thing you need to lose to overcome the situation.
I'm exploring a field that is extremely negative and in which death and pain definitely comes with the territory. But although my life, I consider my life as being more like, you know, dedicated to passion, pleasure, experimentation, exploration, and it's quite cool. I mean,
because I want to live in this world, I love this world, I love this place, I love the nature, but I want to develop myself in this world. I would like to live in this world the best way possible.
The whole world is incredible, don't take me wrong, because I like to stay away from people and societies sometimes.
Life is a gift of gods and must be harvested by this way. Harvest the gardens of life and may you rise in heavens. Embrace what is real, what's unreal, what is truth, what's fantasy. To have total lucidity and awareness of the eternal present. This is life.
But there are people who've been very close to death, I guess. That's where all these testimonies come from that we know and we see in the movies or in the paintings. And of course, these things pass from generation to generation, the ideas, the beliefs of what's happening. That at that time your soul is being judged, or it chooses a path to go. From mouth to mouth, from picture to picture, they end up being a cover of a black metal album, you know? Pictures of demons or angels trying to grab you from the world you are living. And I see it in some bands. It's this respect for death, the exploration of the afterlife. It's about investigating this, writing about this with this imposing big thing, the mystery of life and death, the heaviness of the depiction of such experiences, of each artist's experience, might make people think about that, and I hope it does. Of course, there are many who might take it wrong in another direction and try to imitate that. Imitate it in a bad way, like try to cause death or destruction.
You are looking to be part of something that takes you out from the normal world, in a world of fantasy, destruction, you know, like takes your mind way out of the modern world.
Because people that are awake, people that are creative, people that are thinking, people that are not completely reliant, blindly reliant on something that's served to them, are potentially dangerous as well. You know, they can lead themselves. So I think it's important to get out to be in touch with anything else that is not the city and not, you know, this plastic structure.
I grew on underground, you know, since I was a kid. Underground could be a kind of society, that have their own rules, very different to the world outside.
It gives you a sense of belonging to something bigger than just bullshit kind of teenage social parties and shit like that, where it's just there's no foundation for anything bigger than yourself, you know?
Since my teenage years, I always had this idea that, the real music is in the underground. Musicians themselves have to be involved in the process more than in the mainstream music.
I know that when we first started, even when we were teenagers, we knew that to do this style of music and to be able to give it our all with absolutely no compromise, we can't seek money from it, you know? It seems impenetrable from the outside when you first hear this sort of music. But I think once you scratch the surface, it's like I don't know, it just overwhelms you. The way that we always like to think of it is that it would just feel like you're just completely overrun. Like it's like the end of the world is the kind of the feeling that we want to evoke. This is not music for teenagers. It's not for the mass market. It's stuff that once you scratch below the surface a little bit, it grabs hold of you, and it will until you die, you know. And I think it's that alienating kind of quality that puts off 99% of people, right?
I kept on playing in the cave, made songs in there. It's totally peaceful. It's a really hypnotic atmosphere. Just wet stone, flooded corridor, snakes sometimes, spiders, bats flying outside, centipedes, and candles, that's it. And there's a massive sound, simple and effective. Then I started thinking of how to create this live, of how to take the cave sound to the people.
There is definitely magic there and unexplained forces at play that I choose not to give names.
When the show is great, it's good, it's intense, there is no recording on the hard drive. It's like secret ceremonies that no one never recorded.
It's a completely out-of-body experience for the hour or so that you're performing.
People tell me they feel spirits coming from below, going up and chanting them. Other times people tell me that spirits come from above and do the same thing. So sometimes they say about demonic stuff, sometimes they speak about angels. I don't know. Both are angels, in a sense.
The most beautiful thing is for an individual, for an artist, is to make people to dream behind the skin of matter. Even for some seconds that we live behind this modern world and we experience through the true eyes of your soul something deeper, something unknown. This is, I think, the beauty of the art.
Yeah, my objective is not to make the world better, but my objective is more like to make the world maybe a bit more interesting. Making the world better, I don't really care about. But more interesting, yes, I do care.
You know, we've all had our lives changed by music. Like, we've devoted our lives to it, regardless of whether you play music or you're in a band or whatever. Just the sheer fact that there's bands that exist that speak to you on a deep level. If I have a mission, that's it, to make music that resonates with people on a deep level. Because I know for me, without music, I don't know where I'd be, you know, as a listener, not even necessarily as an artist. You know.
The right concept of human, as I got to learn from the etymology of the word human in Greek, which is anthropos, is someone who is looking at the sky, to the divine, getting better every day. The behavior of destroying every day is not human for me, but is a trait. I don't know where it comes from. I'm not too much into sociology or anthropology, how it came to be, I mean, or where it started. Where is this greed coming from?
When you meditate and you explore your inner godhood and you come with a very inner relationship with the divine, you can experience by yourself, and not in theory, that there is not such duality of right and left. If you can experience the breaking of duality, you can see this as a wall. I think all of these changes and the duality took form because people had the need to discriminate such terms, to break their own mind breaks. When someone gets deeper into initiation, this discriminations is useless.
None of us lives, a happy spiritual life. We are not like hippies. I would like to be like that. I would like to be happy all the day and living my spirituality like, an Hare Krishna. But unfortunately, I cannot deal with that sort of energies. I deal with something that sometimes fucks my brain, and sometimes I feel really possessed, as I am on stage, for example. But even sometimes daily, I feel like crap, and I know that it's because of some magical workings or some ritual that went wrong, or some spiritual obsession or whatever.
The spiritual practice is like not something you have to, for me, something you have to chase. Just has to come out naturally, like everything else, not following. If you are not chasing something, it comes to you. For example, many people just want to see miracles, want to speak to enlightened people. They're looking, let's say, passionately or aggressively to find someone to speak to. Well, if you just have the right mindset and just keep on going, these things will come to you. Just have to have the proper eyes to realize this thing came, just passed next to you. It was this guy whose face you didn't like at first, and he just passed. It was the person that you were previously chasing, the enlightened person to talk to share 5 minutes.
Even this moment that we are talking, the moment that you have your dinner, the moment that you have sex with your girlfriend, the moment that you are walking the street, this is the most important meditation, to be aware in as much as possible in all the ways of your life. I think the goal is one, like it was thousands of years before, to be aware of the sacred science.
You're capable of anything. That's what I learned. We are designed this way.
The facet of not knowing also drives us to do amazing things that we would never undertake or achieve if we knew what there was to be gained at the end of it.
We all do this to know in the end.